Hello and welcome. We are continuing from previous session on market research or marketing research. We have explained that their marketing research processes can be categorized into three separate classes. One is based on sources of data. They are primary, secondary. Primary means if you gather data directly from the target audience. Secondary means someone somewhere has collected data, maybe they have published or you can lay your hands on something from magazine, from newspaper and use them, that is secondary data which is not directly collected by you. Then based on methods, it may be quantitative, qualitative and by objective, meaning whether you just want to explore and understand whether there is a market for your product, kind of get a bird's eye view about the market. Then you use exploratory, descriptive when you want a deeper insight, you want to know, you want to test your hypothesis whether this product will actually be successful. And then there are causal and experimental, meaning you give some stimulation or some input to the market and see how the market reacts to that. Something like you add advertisement expenses and then see whether sales going up, or say you change the packaging of the product and see how customer reacts. So, you give some, it is kind of cause and effect. So, you put something and then you see the reaction from the market. We will slightly elaborate on primary method of data collection, particularly on survey. So, and then we will proceed to other methods. So, these are the primary methods on a survey, focus group, interview, experimental and field trial and then observation. So, we will talk little bit about survey. We have completed that in this previous session. Market survey is most widely used, that is why I thought we will go slightly at further length. Market survey is normally done through questionnaire and design of the questionnaire is very important. If you design the questionnaire very smartly, then the information that you gather will be useful. You design it wrongly, it will be absolutely useless. So, while designing, make sure that every question is necessary, because everybody's time is important. You give a long questionnaire to somebody, they will kind of try to avoid even filling that. So, keep it short and simple and ask only the most relevant question and ask direct question. Do not ask a very roundabout question, they will not even try to break their head to understand and they will be confused as to what to answer. Ask one question at a time, so that they can devote more time and then give a exact view that they actually think. Otherwise, they will in a hurry they will give some data which not be useful. Avoid leading and biased question. Leading means you lead them to say something, like say suppose you are asking how was our wonderful dish today to a customer in your restaurant. So, if the moment you say wonderful, you are actually leading him to say that it was wonderful, something like that. So, you do not try to ask, do not try to put words into their mouth and do not ask biased question as well. Biased means you try to like say you have a political bias. Now, you are telling somebody that do not you think that this and this party is going to win the election, then even if they do not think so, but because you are guiding him or her to say something, they might say that. So, likewise speak your respondent's language, use response scale whenever possible. Like if you say that how do you think this product is going to perform, is one question. This question can be paraphrased out of 1 to 5, put your understanding or your feeling as to where this product is, how this product is going to be successful. 1 means not successful, 5 means very successful. So, any scale given to a person, it becomes easy for them to give the data and it becomes meaningful to you, it becomes quantitative data and that gives better understanding. Avoid using grids and matrices that looks so complex that nobody will reply, or if they reply it will be wrong. Rephrase yes no type of question is possible. Take your survey for a test drive. Before you go into the market, you do it in your office or somewhere and see how they respond, what their reaction is, whether this is kind of eliciting the right kind of responses that you intend to. you should be careful about putting the question. Just look at this, it's a wonderful example. I took it from some other slide. Do you approve of smoking while praying? If you say smoking while praying, people say no, not at all, they will react very negatively. But if you say, do you approve praying while smoking, they will say, why not, when I am smoking I will just pray, this is perfectly okay. So, the same question given in two contexts gives exactly the opposite answer. So, one should be very careful about phrasing the question. This is one very successful experiment on experimental market research. Coke saw decline in market share in 1970s. This example is used by many people, and so I also gathered from there. I wish I could give a very recent and Indian example, but it is very difficult to get, particularly due to shortage of time. So, but the Coke introduced a new Coke, but then they found that market share is going down and down. So, they thought what is wrong, because the new product Coke has a hypothesis that people are consuming beverages because of the taste, not really because of their emotional attachment or something, and they found that other drink is sweeter. So, they added more sweet to their drink. They thought that customers are going to like it because it is tastier. Then when they observed that market is not really accepting that, they did some blind test. Test means they asked people blindfolded, they gave different drinks including Pepsi and their own sweet Coke and previous Coke. More than 50% of the people liked the old Coke. So, they realized the old Coke was the better drink than sweet Coke or than competitors, etc. So, eventually they introduced the old Coke, but with a new name, because they did not want to spoil people's feeling that the old Coke has come to the market. So, they said Coke Classic. So, they used a different name. Now, it is a summary of primary market research. Primary market research can be primary and secondary both. It is qualitative, then cost wise, time wise, suggestion wise. Primary has survey. So, first line was secondary and primary like survey, focus group. This is a comparative chart between different primary types of research, secondary research, etc. This will take too much time for reading it out. So, I will make a quick move to the next slide. Now, after primary, secondary, or after market research by sources of data, the next one is by methodology, and methodology can be quantitative, qualitative. Quantitative means you ask question that elicit response in terms of some numerical data, so that you get numerical value and it becomes objective. Whereas, qualitative, maybe you ask a question where people express their level of satisfaction, something like good, bad, or very good, or something, which is kind of a qualitative answer, and it is not objective, it is subjective. So, let us move forward. Qualitative research is exploratory in nature, meaning you try to explore whether people like something, or it's not really a test of hypothesis, but testing of your idea. You build hypothesis based on qualitative research. So, it comes from in-depth interview. Sometimes it may be observation from away, customers are purchasing and you just observe them, how they are behaving. It may be in terms of a billboard, somewhere you put a billboard, people come there and write their opinion, something like that. Quantitative research on the other hand looks to quantify a problem, involves collection of data through surveys in different modalities like online, phone, paper, points of purchase, purchase transaction and click stream, and more. Like you can send questionnaire, or you can even at the point of purchase you can ask customer 2-3 questions, out of which you can kind of come up with a conclusion. Type of market research by methodology, qualitative and quantitative. Here is a kind of a comparative chart that you can understand how they are and how they are not. I will not read them, but mostly qualitative is kind of probing, whereas quantitative is simple and you ask question, and probing means you keep on asking question, then they give answer, you based on the answer you ask another question, sample size is small because you have to interact, whereas quantitative you send the questionnaire to many people and then it becomes a large sample. Talking to large people for probing is very difficult. So, information per respondent is very high because they give lot of information, you are sitting in front of them and questioning. Questionnaire skills means when you ask a question, they give a reply. So, depending on the reply you have to ask another question. So, one has to be very, very skilled to gather data through qualitative market research, whereas quantitative, an expert gives the questionnaire, anybody can send it and gather data and then put it in one place, somebody else will do the analysis, etc. So, benefit of qualitative market research over quantitative. This whole chart is about qualitative market research, not really quantitative, but just a comparison. It is not a side by side comparison. Qualitative is cheaper than quantitative because you are doing with limited number of people, then probes in depth because you are asking a question, based on reply you are again asking a question to get further and further insights. So, it is getting deeper and deeper, often useful precursor to quantitative. So, once you get some idea about qualitative, then you move forward and then you can do quantitative, meaning you understand what is the segment of people that we should send our questionnaire, etc., and what should be the questions per se. The questionnaire design itself will be possible after little bit of qualitative research. Next is the market research by objective, meaning whether you want to get a just bird's eye view about a market, or you want to go deeper inside, or you want to test very exactly, you want to test that you give some input, how the output becomes, it is causal test depending on that. So, market research by objective, one is exploratory, descriptive, and the other is causal. So, as I said, exploratory is preliminary, descriptive go deeper, causal means cause and effect relationship. Exploratory research is less structured, obviously it is just an observation. You just can stand on the street and see how people are behaving, from there itself you can get some insight, and then that becomes a kind of a strategic decision making process. A very nice example that most of the people refer to is McDonald. There were McDonald brothers who used to run McDonald, and Ray Kroc is a guy who was a marketing guy who used to sell milkshake machine, and he used to go from shop to shop to supply this machine, maintain this machine, do some troubleshooting, etc. He noticed that this McDonald's shop is full of crowd and they take so many machines, they buy so many machines, they burn them, again buy them, lot of maintenance issue. So, he noticed that this is a shop where there are too many people coming. He never saw this amount of crowd in any other shop. Then he realized that this is a business model that is going to do wonders. So, he bought out McDonald, and then ultimately McDonald became a huge food chain in the world. So, that is, he just noticed through observation. It is an exploratory kind of research. It was no research when he actually noticed, but then this is how exploratory research is made. You observe people at the shop, elsewhere, clarify problems and hypotheses. It just clarifies, it does not test hypothesis, but you get to set up your hypothesis. Exploratory research allows the researchers to define the problem, kind of elementary. You can use secondary data as well other than observation. Is unstructured, usually there is no formal kind of neither questionnaire or any kind of a system of gathering data. It can be done anyway. It is very flexible, it is very simple, quick and less costly, because it is like Ray Kroc did not require any money to do this observation. Then comes descriptive from observation. Descriptive research is undertaken to describe answers to a question like who, what, where, when and how our customers are doing, like who are our customer, what do they buy, where do they buy, when do they buy, how do they buy, etc., etc. In order to know who our customers are, what brands they presently buy and in what quantities, and where do they buy, why do they buy, and if they are changing to our brand, then why are they changing, what is that succinct differentiator that we could give them, and that is why they are coming, so that we can give it more. So, to do that research, we need to do this descriptive. Descriptive can be two types, cross sectional and longitudinal. Cross sectional meaning that you at a certain point in time you take data from a sample of population, sample of your customers, like say from 100 customer you take a data at today at this point of time. So, it may be something like what they are buying today. Suppose is particularly used for election also, other than marketing research, like say this is the time before the election. So, today you take data as to which party is they are going to support, etc. Longitudinal data is taken over a period of time. Today you take data, then after maybe 3 months you take another set of data from the same people, then after maybe 6 months you take another set of data and you see how things are changing. Suppose you want to test whether your brand actually is better performing compared to other brands, even though your sales may go down, go up or anything, but that does not say that in the marketplace you are doing better or worse, because other brand might be doing even worse. So, you want to see how your brand performs vis-a-vis other brands. So, you take data today, how much is your sales, how much is the sales of the competitors, then you take another data and you see that they are perhaps declining at say 12%, you are declining only 10%. So, you are actually performing better. Likewise, there may be many other kinds of information that you gather through longitudinal data collection. Cross sectional, it measures cross sectional and longitudinal. So, cross section measures units from a sample of the population of interest at any point in time. I think we have already discussed most of them. So, let us move forward. Longitudinal, this is an example, the one that I was explaining, say brand 1, brand 2, brand 3, brand 4. Survey 1 was done at a certain point in time, and they found brand 1 sold 200 to 300, 400, 500, total is 1400. And after you gather data at 3 different point in time, you notice that brand 1 is actually winning at the cost of other brands. Now, you can estimate what is the decline of other brands and then decide what is the distinctive features of your brand compared to all these 3 other brands. Then you can try to improve that feature, so that moving forward you gain more and more traction, more and more market share. Research design, causal or experimental research. It is like if xi means some features of a product increases, what happens to y means a dependent variable may be sales. Suppose you increase quality or you increase sweetness in a drink, or say any other features of a food or any other product, and you see how it is, how the customers are reacting to that, whether sales is going up or down or things like that, is causal experiment. So, you change some parameter of your product and see the reaction, and design is very critical to understand the exact change, because you miss the insight eventually you gain depends on the whole experiment. Like say you spend more money in advertisement, whether the sales is going up, etc. Now, market research process is most important part of marketing research, but this can be briefly placed into 5 steps. There can be more steps. In fact, in my next slide I have mentioned 12 steps. This is a brief of the steps. So, these are 5 steps, and it starts with defining the problem. What is the problem that for which you are gathering data, developing the research plan, how you are going to gather data, whether it is going to be primary, secondary, it is going to be exploratory, or it is going to be observation or causal, then whether it is going to be qualitative or quantitative, then collecting the information. After you decide how you are going about, then analyzing the information and presenting the finding. You can read the rest of the thing, pausing on the slide, I will not read them, but I would like to go ahead and talk about the other processes. These are 12 steps for market research. These are slightly more elaborate. It gives more steps, meaning sub steps. So, establish the need of market research, meaning what is the problem and what kind of information you are trying to gather. So, that is, you define that. Then review the environment and the context of the problem, means overall what kind of data you need, etc. Determine research design. Here comes the data and other things. Research approach depending on the problem and objective. Identify information types, meaning is it qualitative or quantitative. Information source, primary or secondary. Develop research plan, and then moving forward, determine methods of accessing data, whether you are going to take some secondary data or you are going for a questionnaire survey or interview, etc. Design data collection forms. If it is survey, data collection form. Determine the sample plan, how many people you are going to talk to, what kind of people you are going to talk to, and the size. Collect data, analyze the data, prepare and present final research report. So, based on the report, you are going to formulate strategy, your other people are going to formulate strategy and then implement. Then after implementation, you want to see whether your insight actually helped the company to improve the performance. So, you again start collecting data. It is a continuous process, it goes on and on and on, and continuously you validate the process that you have adopted, the data analysis that you have done, whether that actually helped your company. Here are some normally market research is done by third party normally, because it is a huge process, it needs a lot of skill, and it should be done by professionals. And there are innumerable number of market research companies, particularly in today's world. Even a company with a 10 crore turnover, they want to track what their competitors are doing and how they are doing vis-a-vis their competitors on a quarterly basis, on a half yearly annual basis, so that they can keep track and they remain ahead of the competition, etc. Here is just a representative. I just Google search and I gave some 6 names, but there are umpteen number of names, and this is not in any order. So, this is not that first one is the best or last one is the worst, nothing like that. But before you engage any consultant, you should be confident that this is the people that we really want to do business with, meaning we want to trust these guys for doing our market research. Make a thorough credibility check whether they have done something and then it resulted in real insight that any company, for whichever company they did, they actually benefited out of it. So, is there a clear linkages to business objective, meaning their performance, whatever data they have gained and insight they have provided, is there alignment with their business objective, so that they could take strategic decisions for improving their business. Market research is one part data, the other part consulting, meaning that gathering of data is one part, but data will not speak itself. We have to analyze the data, and based on analysis we have to take a decision as to what actually it means. So, the consulting part is the analytical part, and then giving decision as strategic decision as to what the business should do. So, consulting is one part and data is the other part. So, you should engage someone who could help you in consulting as well, meaning that they will give you suggestions that you should take this action under this situation. Satisfaction with the consulting components of research is very low normally, because many companies start doing marketing research, but they may not have thorough insight, deep insight about the business process of different industries. So, their performance is not so good in that respect. How rigorous is their process and analysis? There will be a tendency, there are always bad companies and good companies. If a company wants to make a shortcut, they may not even gather data, they may cook up something and provide you and take the money. So, you have to see how rigorous their process is, how ethical, how trustable they are while selecting them. So, counter check, quality of insight generated, what kind of insight they have generated, can they communicate well. Communication also plays an important part, because they are going to communicate with the target audience. If they communicate wrongly, they will get a wrong answer. Are they known for maintaining high ethical standard, must understand your business. If they do not understand your business, their consulting part will be useless. They should give actionable, measurable metrics, so that you can take action to make good something or make a strategic decision. They should be flexible, but how much data is good enough? That is the next question, and answer is here. There is something called Pareto principle. Pareto came up with a principle that for anything 80% of the things come out of 20%, meaning if you are doing research, 80% of the outcome or IP will be generated out of only 20% of your projects, or 80% of the sales will come out of 20% of the customer, 80% of the effects are generated out of 20% of the causes, something like that. It is applicable in everywhere, and look at what Jeff Bezos of Amazon has to say about this. He says depend on only 70% of the information and make a decision. If you wait for 90% of the information, you are going to delay so much, it is going to be you are actually too slow and you will miss the bus. So, it is always important that do maximum with minimum information, because remaining 30% of the information will come from 80% of the effort. So, effort will be too much to generate remaining percent of the information. So, that will not add to accuracy so much. So, that is why this is very important, and Bezos says that try generating 70% of the information and make fast decision, because today the reality is that fast and steady wins the race, not really slow, but steady, because things are changing so fast that you have to do fast, and you must be able to do increasingly more with increasingly less things. Some last words. Boston Consulting Group says that even though market research is so very important, no marketing decision, no product decision, no strategy can be formulated without real insight about the market. But then many companies are doing decisions without real data, without real market survey to their own peril, and it has been established that those who are not depending on data, they are not doing well. Business leaders should share the market research insight with employees at all levels. This democratization of data and research would open the door for non-researchers to contribute ideas, engage with research and ask questions. It is to be understood that everybody may be innovative, everybody in your company may be innovative. So, it is not necessary that only market research guys are innovative, or people who are working in R&D lab are innovative. So, that is why if you democratize data, then people will look at it, and some people with innovative ideas, they will come up with some strategy that is going to change the company. So, that is why democratization is very important in startup. Here are a lot of references, and they are very nice references. In fact, I have taken major portion of my content from some of these books, first two books, and some of the blogs. And here is some concluding remarks. Market research is usually an integral part of startup. One should ignore it at their own peril, but it must be timely, objective and relevant. Otherwise, it is worse than useless, leading you down the wrong path. You get wrong information, do the wrong thing, obviously you go to the wrong path. So, be involved as far as you can, so that you have confidence that the way information is being gathered is right, the information that you get paying good money is useful for your purpose. You do not actually do wrong things by spending money and getting wrong data. That should be all for today, and thank you.